There is a 69-page DEA memo about Trump's buddy Jeffrey Epstein. It dates back to 2015. It describes a DEA investigation that was opened in 2010. A 5-year federal probe targeting Epstein and 14 other individuals. This investigation centered on suspicious wire transfers that were tied to illegal substances and, yes, the organized abuse of children, right here in the United States, in the Virgin Islands, and in New York City. It names 12 individuals and 2 businesses. And in the version that the public has seen, those names are redacted. Fortunately, the unredacted version does exist, and senators and members of Congress can read it. They just have to do it in a secure room at the DOJ without their electronic devices and under conditions that Senator Ron Wyden described this week as the DOJ surveilling members of Congress who go to view them. The DOJ is watching which lawmakers look at which pages. You know, it's the Pam Bondi way. More evidence for her little binder of insults that she's going to hurl at Congress. The Department of Justice, run by a person who just got subpoenaed for lying to Congress about the Epstein files, is monitoring what your elected representatives get to read about those same files in the reading room. Bipartisan members of Congress have called this an outrage. House Speaker Johnson called it inappropriate. The DOJ's response was that they log all searches to protect the victims. I just really want to know who they are considering the victims here. They're watching you read the files about the children who were abused. To protect the children who were abused? That's their explanation? Senator Wyden said about this, Blanche and Bondi are hiding those files in a black box at the DOJ in violation of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. They're not accessible to the public. DOJ is surveilling members of Congress who go to view them. This is not on the level. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, formerly Donald Trump's personal criminal defense attorney, just so you have that context locked in, told Congress that the unredacted version can be reviewed in this secure facility. But he did not address the public release. He did not address the surveillance of Congress. So why is this document, by the way, different? Why is it different than any of the other documents out there and yet another Epstein document fatigue that I completely understand? This isn't just a name of a list of names at a party. This is a federal law enforcement agency, the DEA, opening a multi-year investigation into a network of at least 15 people involved in illegal substances and the organized abuse of children across multiple states and territories. And then suddenly, that investigation appears to have produced nothing. No charges, no public disclosure, just a heavily redacted memo released years after Epstein was already dead, and they buried this document in a document dump that the DOJ has already declared complete. And we know about the copious amounts of improperly redacted documents and the still hidden documents. So going back to this document, what exactly happened in the years between the DEA opening the case in 2010 and when Epstein was arrested in 2019? 9 years of an active federal investigation into a network that included 15 people abusing children across U.S. jurisdictions. And the outcome was a non-prosecution agreement, a guilty plea on some state charges, and Trump's pal Epstein walked free. A federal judge later ruled that that non-prosecution agreement violated the rights of victims. You know, the victims that the DOJ is trying to protect. The prosecutor who negotiated all of this, Alex Acosta. Acosta later became Trump's Secretary of Labor. Drain the swamp indeed. Acosta resigned in 2019 when the sweetheart deal that he had about Epstein became public. And this new DEA document directly contradicts something that the FBI and Kash Patel and the entire Trump regime has been parroting over the entire last year. You remember when Kash Patel testified that the FBI found no credible information that the Epstein had organized the abuse of children to anyone beyond himself? No credible information. Meanwhile, the DEA was running a multi-year investigation into 15 people and multiple businesses tied to illegal activity involving children across U.S. jurisdictions with Jeffrey Epstein. Either Patel doesn't know about the DEA investigation, which would be an extraordinary failure of coordination between two key law enforcement agencies. Or he does know about it and testified otherwise. And in either case, Kash Patel needs to be asked about this under oath. And either way, it is par for the course in this Trump regime. Confusion, ineptness, and stupidity, all rewarded as long as you are loyal to the heavily bruised orange turd in chief. The cover-up is still active. Share this story, subscribe, comment, because the story that the DOJ wants you to believe is that there's nothing more to see. And we keep showing you that there is.
They called it closed, filed away, forgotten. But some truths don't stay buried. Time doesn't erase guilt. A reckoning is always just around the corner. A death in Arcadia. Justice has a long memory.